Hi, this is Dr. Paul Tomlinson from Compass Health Network, and I want to talk to you about how important the relationship is between mind and body, and why we should never be afraid to ask for help. Why do we often talk about our minds and bodies like they're two separate things? In reality, mental health and physical health are so deeply intertwined that you really can't separate them, and they affect each other big time. So it makes sense that taking care of both your physical and mental health is super important for long-term well-being. That relationship between mind and body can either be positive or negative, depending on our attitudes and circumstances. But it's mostly up to us to make it positive. What does the mind-body relationship mean for us as human beings? Well, did you know that about 1 in 5 of us will have a significant mental health challenge this year? Depression affects more than 16 million American adults, and anxiety is even more common, affecting almost 20% of the U.S. population. Those two mental illnesses are actually closely linked, by the way. Almost half of people diagnosed with depression also deal with an anxiety disorder, and they can both mess with our physical health, including weakening our immune system and even causing heart problems over the long run. Let's talk about that first thing, immunity. That's a really big issue for us during a viral pandemic like we've been experiencing. Our immune systems need all the help they can get. Well, scientists have found that experiencing stress, both in the short and long run, can actually weaken the immune system, making us more open to infections from viruses and bacteria. What about heart health? Well, that's essential for all of us, and especially for athletes and people who want to be and remain physically active. The impact of mental health is just as strong for heart health as it is for immunity. The risk of heart attack, for example, is about 9 times higher within 2 hours after an intense burst of anger, and people with very high anxiety levels are almost 10 times more likely to have a heart attack after an anxiety attack. So reducing stress and anxiety really can improve your heart health. Bottom line is, mental health is essential to physical health. What about the other direction, the impact of physical health on mental health? Well, we know that exercising regularly is one of the best ways to get and stay mentally healthy. It's really one of the best antidepressants there is. Exercise has been proven to reduce anxiety and depression immediately after exercising and in the long run. And since we know anxiety and depression are correlated with worse immunity and higher risk of heart attack, it only makes sense that prioritizing your workouts every day is a step in the right direction. Those who walk, swim, cycle, jog, whatever, for 15 to 30 minutes at least 3 times a week will see the biggest benefits. So I hope you're convinced that physical and mental health have an undeniable relationship, but it's up to you to make it a positive one instead of a negative one. Here are a few tips to help make that happen. Exercise regularly, as I mentioned, to reduce depression and anxiety. Make sure you get enough sleep every night. Many of us are sleep deprived and may not even know it. Get outside to combat depression. Eat a nutritious, balanced diet as much as possible. Eat real foods whenever you can instead of stuff that comes in a box or the drive-thru. And don't hesitate to talk with a therapist if you need to. Why would we hesitate to talk with a therapist or get treatment for a mental health problem? Well, there may be several reasons, but I want to focus on one we can do something about: stigma. Stigma is just a mark or a label we put on things or people we don't understand or are afraid of for some reason. Getting help for our mental health issues like depression or anxiety should be no more of a big deal than going to the doctor to get an antibiotic for a sinus infection or strep throat, or going to get treatment for something more serious like cancer. Can you imagine someone saying, "It's just cancer, get over it. Give it some time"? No. Mental and physical health are on the same level and should be treated the same, as conditions we can do something about, and we should have no fear or shame about doing that. We should protest and refuse to use words or labels that turn people into things. Like, she's a schizophrenic or he's a drug addict. No, we are people, and people come first. How about she's a woman with schizophrenia or he's a young man with substance use problems? The person comes first. Words are important. Think about those things growing outside. If you want to care for something, you call it a flower. If you want to kill something or get rid of it, you call it a weed. Words are important. Statistically speaking, it's almost certain that someone in your family is experiencing mental health challenges and needs your support. Young and old alike experience a variety of mental illnesses, from ADHD to depression to bipolar disorder, and other challenges like stress and trouble sleeping. You know, almost 10 million children and youth in the U.S. have serious emotional problems, but only 1 in 5 of those kids is receiving proper treatment. We can do better. When people are able to get help, they can recover or learn to manage their mental health and live happier, healthier, more productive lives. So please don't ever let fear of stigma stop you from getting the help you need or helping someone you know get the help they need.